Welcome back to What the Fahad. Have you ever felt torn between who your family wants you to be and who you could become? Today's conversations go straight into that tension. How to chase serious athletic ambition without losing your sense of belonging, identity, or connection to home. In many communities, women still face questions, judgments, and restrictions when they step into sport, especially at a competitive level, and that pressure can affect emotional well being as much as performance. The guest for this episode is Sara Lodhi, an athlete who has learned to walk the tightrope. Showing up as a competitor while staying deeply connected to her roots, Sara shares how conversations at home, cultural expectations, and community opinions shaped her journey, what it took mentally to keep going, and how she turned all into standout performances, including her recent win at Karachi Marathon. If you ever feel like you're choosing between your family, your future, and your well being, this episode is for you. Let's welcome Sara on WTF. And before we begin, welcome on the show, Sara.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good and I'm really excited.
Thank you for your time. Uh, I've been watching your journey for quite some time, and it is just levels, and I hope you reach the ultimate level of success as well. It's really nice to see you, smashing your win at Karachi Marathon.
Thank you so much.
It
Thank you.
it's an honor to be on the team with you.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Sara is an A6 frontrunner as well. And so we before we start our episodes, we have a question we ask our guest, and that first question is, who is Sara?
So I feel like I have so many different lives in one life. There's a mother, Sarah, who's, I would say that's my main role and responsibility. Then I have my part time work and managing home and all. And then the athlete life, I feel that is another person altogether. It's like I have many lives within one life.
Oh, brilliant! So it's a multiple role of juggling.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Totally.
take us back to your childhood, Sara. Was sports something that was encouraged in your family, or was it considered something as extra, like an extracurricular activity, or was it like really encouraged by your family?
Okay, so it's kind of like a mixed thing. So when I was like a child, we would play outside in the streets. Like we would play cricket. I was horrible at cricket. I was so bad. I was generally the last person to be picked in a
Okay.
team. Running always used to make me end up in a stitch in the stomach, so I
Okay.
never liked running. Bicycle, when I learned how to ride a bike, my balance was so off. The first time I couldn't hit the brake and I smashed into a wall. That's how I stopped. So I wouldn't say like swimming also. My dad, so I know that we were privileged that we got to try all the sport. Like our father made sure the girls, my brother, and the three sisters, we have exposure to swimming, gymnastics. We would go to the gymnasium. So we had access to all these sports, which was a privilege. Like other girls or other kids did not have this sort. Like golf, we've played golf, horseback riding, a lot of stuff like unconventional also was there. But I wouldn't say I was really into a sport till grade 8th when
Okay.
I started basketball and I was good at basketball. So
Oh,
that was the
nice.
first thing. And then I was a captain for the college team. So yeah, I played that for a few years and then it was just studying and nothing of sports.
It's really interesting. I know all
Yeah.
of these people, and they have still elements of stuff because I never knew you could play basketball.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that is new
yeah, yeah.
information for me.
I loved basketball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you first realize that you just don't like running or sports in general? You want to really start pushing yourself into excelling into it. When was the first time you did
It was, I would say, just 3 years
it?
ago. So
Okay.
I started running in 2022, probably. Yeah. And then I think after my first like ultra that I did, I was like, okay, now I need to be not stupid and get into these events without any preparation or not taking it
True.
seriously and just winging it and actually, like train
Okay.
properly. Yeah. So 3 years ago.
Okay. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Quite recent then.
Yeah, quite recent.
And then, you know, what were the comments that your relatives or family members had for you when you started, pushing yourself, taking your training seriously, taking that lifestyle a bit more seriously?
Yeah.
Were there comments or were there talks around it, and what were they?
So generally, the first thing that you would hear was, so I was before the running was into gym, and I just wanted to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So once I started taking it more seriously, I made like a page on Instagram and then shared it with just friends and family.
Follow me.
Yeah, everyone did follow, but then there were some comments like, okay, anyone who gets into fitness thinks they can be an influencer or give
Oh,
suggestions, not like on the face, but
behind the back.
behind. Yeah. And honestly, for me at that time, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to show them, or I'm going to show them how it's done, and I'm actually going to do it. I had a lot of doubt about myself as well, because I didn't know which direction this will go in, and there are not many people from our background in this area who are doing things like
Like this.
these. So the fear, the inhibition was always there.
And how did this early comments give you a sense that, okay, this is possible and this is not possible? What were your initial directional that you wanted to start pushing then with this early comments?
Actually, I didn't like. I think these comments did not. As I said, I was unsure myself, and I had these fears, inhibitions. So I was more like going with the flow
Okay.
and just doing. And I think a big part of that is my husband is a very untraditional, non-traditional
Okay.
sort of a person. And if I would discuss anything with him that, I have this fear, this inhibition, and he's like, he comes from a very different background, like street smart,
Okay.
just give it a go. Why are you afraid? So I think that kind of, just leave all this aside and do what you want to do, and just, give it a shot. What's the worst
Brilliant.
that can happen?
So when growing up, did you have the need to explicitly take permission from your family members or your dad or mom to like explore certain sports, or was just like a green flag, like, okay, go ahead, do what
No,
you
no,
like?
no. There was obviously
Okay.
there was the need for permission
Okay.
for anything, like even the studying. Okay, which subjects to choose,
Okay.
and it comes from the parents need to have like a safety element
True.
is there, and they want to make sure that you're secure, your future secure. So all of that stems from that. So
Okay.
yeah.
And did you have anyone in the family or in your friend circle who was previously unsure about where you're going to end up, but now are one of your biggest supporting crews?
Yes, I would say it's everyone. Like my dad, he was the one who
Okay.
exposed us to sports as kids, all of us. But he also knew in our the college and uni days that your focus needs to be studying. And when I was in one of the top universities in the country studying business, and at that time also I liked fitness and yoga and the wellness thing.
Okay.
And I did express that maybe I would want to go to the Europe and do some courses. Now at that time that was not a thing at home.
Correct.
So he just wanted to make sure that I'm in a safer like career, and not exploring or venturing out, like taking those risks. But in hindsight, I'm a parent myself right
Correct.
now, and I am the same for my
Okay.
kids. Like I want them to be safe instead of exploring risky avenues
Okay.
and going places we don't know how it's going to end up. So
True.
yeah, but Baba now also he's the biggest supporter. He's the one sending WhatsApps to all his friends, showing off that
Sweet.
she's done this, now she's doing this. But also there's concern that, okay, you're going for a marathon, make sure you're hydrated. If your body is not feeling okay, know when to stop. Like he's also concerned, but he's also number one supporter. And
Okay.
then, even my mother-in-law, like, last when I met her, she's like, someone asked me, "Oh, is this your daughter-in-law?" And I said with pride, "Yes, this is my daughter-in-law that you're seeing." So
Oh,
she's really like, happy. So it's nice. It's nice knowing
mashallah.
this.
That's
Yeah,
really, it's really
yeah.
good to have family support.
Yes, true, true, true.
And it just not acts as a boost of confidence. It also becomes your driving source that you got to make them proud, in a non-pressure manner. So, okay, how do you balance commitments? You are a mother, you create a lot of content yourself, family commitments. How do you balance all of these elements?
Okay, so I know that time is finite. That is true. Like everyone has 24 hours in a day, right? But being a mother, your time is shared between so many things, and it's not fully yours. So I've, like, with time learned that what time for my workouts is best. That's before the house, like, before the kids wake up, before the world starts. That is my training time.
Okay.
And then I know that for my content work or content creation, even if I'm taking bits during the day, the work is being done when the day is done, like
Correct.
when everyone's in their bed.
Correct.
And that time also, like, there's TV in the background, my green tea, like, it's multiple things like juggling, but I
Oh.
try to keep it at as, okay, this is the chunk of time,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna post it tomorrow or whatever,
Okay.
but I have this ready. So yes, I try, like, in the day when the kids are there, just to be fully present and like being on their case, on their
Correct.
study, like homework, blah blah blah, all of that. So yeah, it's these pockets of time that I have, and I do not, my social life is now next to zero. There's, yes, because something has to go, right? You
Correct.
have
100%.
24 hours. So you need to know, okay, these are my priorities, and besides that, whatever time I have, then you have to really, see what deserves your time.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next question. Now that we've stepped into that area, boundaries. And for people in similar cultural experiences, how do you set up your boundaries for your training, your recovery, and your self? Like, what are your strategic maneuvers to set boundaries?
Yeah, I would say the boundaries are kind of there for some people, but it's also not there for for the family. The boundaries are not there. This London marathon I
Okay,
did last, the kids were with me, the whole family
correct.
went. And the day before the marathon, when you're supposed to put your feet up and you're supposed to rest, I had like 25,000 steps by the end of the day. And when I was walking to the
Ouch.
start line, my legs were heavy, and I knew, okay. And I did nothing. Like, I just did the shakeout run, and then it was being in the hotel, but around the kids, okay, walk from here to here, because they don't understand. So those boundaries are not there. Or when I did the finish line, we're going back to the hotel. Can I please stop at the park? Can I please have this 1 hour in my marathon gear? I was in the
Ouch.
park. So, but that is, I wouldn't want to have it any other
Other
way.
way. Okay.
So that is there, but for like my friends, my social life, I've said no so many times to some people that they've given up on me. Like, they know, okay,
Okay.
now this, she's not gonna come. So I've, yeah, but again, you have to prioritize, and you need to see what is important, and
What
and
works out?
sometimes I would go for social commitments, but it's
Not
not that
possible.
much. So the boundaries there are there, that I would rather not hang out in the night. I'm going to sleep at 9, 9:30, and if the party starts at 9, I'm not going
Oh,
at 9, and I'm not messing up my next day.
big.
And yeah, so I've learned how to, put those boundaries in place. But yeah, when it comes to family, it is what it is.
It
And
is what it is.
yeah.
All right. Managing home, managing training. How does that affect your mental health? How do you navigate through it?
So I felt like, what really bothers me is when there are three or four things going on at the same time, which is generally the case. Sometimes in between the interval, I have to like look in the camera, one person is not waking up, not getting ready for school. So the rest in interval is screaming on the camera, wake up, get ready. So, it's the constant juggling, and I think that really gets to you mentally. And then, I would look at my Garmin, unbalanced HRV, and I know it's the stress which is adding up of constantly juggling so many things.
True.
So I have, like, there are days where I take recovery seriously. Like, I've added some yin yoga and
Okay.
some other stuff, breathing techniques, and like, I know I need to have this day where I'm just going to relax and
Okay.
not constantly be managing things. So yeah, just knowing your body and knowing when to take a break is yeah, thing I've learned over time. Yeah.
And for someone who's listening, because you've already answered the questions I was going to ask, like in terms of what you do to calm yourself down, for someone who's watching or listening and they're struggling with such anxiety about how do I juggle things, what would be your recommendation on tackling that rising anxiety or that building stress? What would you suggest them to do?
So I do take a lot of elements from the religion, like the
Okay.
religious aspects,
Okay.
spiritual things. And I do know that, okay, just slowing down, what's
Okay.
the worst that's going to happen, right? Like there are things which are deadline oriented.
True.
But if the rest of it, you just let go and, just breathe, just take this, like, I'm going to enjoy this cup of coffee, I'm going to savor every single sip and just calm down. And not, I think now it's constant like noise. You're trying to make the most out of time by multitasking. Okay, I'm going to do this along with this. Just like have nothingness, or like some meditation, or like for me it's prayer or reciting something, and just like just completely empty your mind. No grocery list, no, oh, next I need to do this,
This, yeah.
this is my tomorrow's training plan. Nothing, everything is going to happen with time, like when the time is there, everything will be done. And really, like, just nothingness,
Okay.
that gives you peace. Just, yeah, empty your mind, empty, yes, exactly, like just empty and just savor in the moment at that time.
And how do you stop one bad training session or one tough week from becoming a mental spiral? Like we have that. We all have that. One training goes bad, one couple of days that are not under your control, and then all of a sudden it just becomes a bad week. How do you stop from that happening?
Okay, so I used to stress out a lot about performance, and this is my goal, this is what I need to be. So first time I did Chicago Marathon was
Okay.
my first marathon, where I went in with, like I wasn't supposed to be running it in the first place. I had barely recovered from a kidney infection,
Okay.
and the doctor had said not to run it.
Okay. But you ran.
But yeah, and then I discussed with my coach, and like how you're like, oh no, I'm still gonna go for it, my fitness is good, blah blah blah. So decided, okay, you're gonna go full on, you're gonna start with that A goal. 10K into the race, I knew like things are hurting, I need to slow down. I made some phone calls also on the way. Then I stopped at every station. I enjoyed the music, the party, had discussions with people. And actually, that was my best marathon ever, feeling wise.
Okay.
Not time wise was the worst, but feeling wise, it was the best. And then I realized, so what if you mess up?
Correct.
If you don't get the goal, or so what? You had fun, you had a good time, and the world doesn't end. You always have the next marathon or the next thing to deal with.
True.
So whatever, like one bad day, one bad marathon is not gonna make a difference.
Okay. And walk us through your normal training week. Like, how does a normal week for someone who works as well, who has kids and family, and who trains extremely with dedication? What does a normal week look like to you?
So, as I said, I wake up super early in the morning, like 4 a.m., get the training done. By the time I'm back, then I have to drop the kids to school. Then I do my work, my personal training sessions, the classes and all are aligned in this in the school hours. And then if I have any strength session, I would do, and then go back home, barely have lunch, pray, then it's pickup time. Then it's just with the kids, do your homework, studying, blah blah blah, managing their things. And by 7 p.m. I'm like, I don't even exist, I'm so tired, like I just want to call it a day and finish things off. So even any training session, like if I don't get it done in the morning, there's a high chance it will never happen during the day.
Okay.
Yeah, because then I'm just caught up in stuff. The evening workouts, even if I manage to make it somewhere in the evening, is just a disaster. So it's just I just know that morning it is. I have one day where I try not to do anything, like a Friday, which is just total like relax and calm down. And I've learned over the time. Initially, I was like, oh, every day I need to grind, I need to. And
Yeah.
then you realize that no, recovery is as important as your training.
True.
So, yeah, I have that day. I have Wednesday where I do not work.
Okay.
I do not work, and I get all the housekeeping, admin work, everything done. And if I don't have that, life will be more chaotic. So I've just like, kind of reached a sweet spot now that these are, chunks of my time, my
True.
week, my that I've divided. And if one thing doesn't happen, it just,
And usually, what gets the no? Like, let's say if you want everything to run smoothly, there has to be something that needs to go out.
that is the social life. That is the social life, yeah.
Sarah's friends, those who are listening, There you
No,
go.
those some friends, because I know that this time is so precious. Time
Correct.
is money, time is. So I
Time is
read this
everything.
book, which is you have only 2000 weeks of life.
Oh, wow.
I mean, imagine if you have 2000 dirhams. Every one dirham you're going to be
Of
thinking
course.
before
100%.
spending. So time is like that. So especially, like before I was running, or the social life, there was a lot of stuff I was doing from which, if I'm coming back home, I'm not coming, there's no positive outcome of that, right? In fact, you're not feeling great out of that socializing or something. So I decided that, okay, this all, anything that doesn't
Fit in.
fit in or makes you feel good or has a positive outcome needs to go.
Needs to go.
Like Eliud Kipchoge's interview,
Correct.
the biggest thing is vitamin N, which is no.
No.
You need to learn to say no to things which don't have any positive
Correct.
outcome. And then when you want to spend time with friends, and my friends know who they are, and I
Correct.
take out time for them.
100%. It's
Yeah,
very important to drop, like I said, boundaries, and it's key for the balance.
true, true.
And if a listener is just starting out and feels overwhelmed, what is one practical time management way or method that they can implement without spiraling out into a bad training or bad week altogether? Like, how do they hold it together? What would you tell them?
So if someone's just starting out, like I've seen too many people give that excuse that I have no time, or I have no, there is time actually. If you see, even for me, I think even in my life I can somehow squeeze in some time. Like there is time that you're spending doom scrolling,
So true.
everyone does that,
Everyone does that.
or watching something. So if something is a big priority, like your workout, you would find a way to get it done, right? Like, yeah, it, no one has like every single minute of the day where they're, oh my God, I'm so occupied, I cannot take out
Correct.
that time. So, yeah, just be a better person at managing time. And again, vitamin N, you need to prioritize your life and learn what can go and what needs to stay. Only things with that benefit you and are good need to stay. And
Okay.
there's time.
This time.
There's time. Yeah.
Let's talk about your win at Karachi Marathon. I mean,
Yes.
absolutely incredible. How was the race planning while you were racing, and when did you realize, okay, you know what, I have a chance to actually win this? Walk me through it.
Yeah. Okay. So this was the third edition of
Okay.
Karachi Marathon that I did. And it was a family holiday, like house full of 10 kids, lots of cousins, lots of someone sleeping in at 4 a.m. and, waking up
Ooh.
at 2 p.m., like all sorts of food being ordered, nothing. But anyway, everyone left on Friday yeah, Friday everyone left. So I was like, okay, I'm extending only me. So those 2 days, I was the only one
Correct.
in Karachi. As in, my in laws were there, but the rest of the guests had left. So the plan was to do a half marathon.
Oh, okay.
The plan was to do half marathon. I did not even bring my charger for the watch. It was on 40% battery. And then some of my friends were like, you know what, you're there. Just do the full marathon. Just do it. And I was like, since New York, that's like start of November, I have not done a single long run.
Okay.
So that's 2 months of no long run. I did Burj to Burj, which was a half
Half
marathon. And
marathon.
for a marathon, you need at least a 30K, because that's
True.
where, your body
Yeah.
breaks down. So I had not done any of that. But then, a few friends, I had a discussion. They're like, treat it as a long run. Just do it. You're
Just
there.
do it.
So then I gathered gels from people I knew over there, got someone to send me a charger, and, just, okay. So next day, it's like, okay, it's a long run. It's a long run. And yeah, just,
Winged it.
yeah, just
Blazed
winged
it,
it. And
basically.
it was like a long run, what I would do in a training long run. But yeah, and the wheels did start to come off at 30K. I was like, oh, I'm about to get a cramp.
Okay.
The feeling was really strong. I'm going to
Okay.
get a cramp. And then I'm like, please, I hope this doesn't happen.
Okay.
So yeah, but we did
Alhamdulillah.
it. Yeah,
Good.
did it.
And was there like a self-talk in your head that, okay, or was it just like pure instinct? You're like, let's go for it. Or were you saying something to yourself, all right, I will talk you through? Because you do that. I mean, during a marathon,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do a lot of
yeah. There is
self-talk.
conversation, there is thoughts. So for me, it was, a bit emotional also. So I've spent a lot of years of my life in Karachi. I've grown up there
Okay,
basically. And I was just so happy to see that there were places where you couldn't even like go alone. My
correct.
my dad would be like, "No, you're going with someone. You're not going alone there." And just to see that, oh my god, there's a running event here and everyone's running, and this is like so different from 20 years ago, 30 years
True.
ago. And that just made me so happy and so emotional, running and seeing so many women participating in the event, like
True.
younger people, older people, the whole community coming together. So I think that just really made me really happy and kind of forget about that, the struggles, the the physical struggle that you're going through at that time. Yeah.
And what did it teach you about your own potential?
I think it did, like, I know that I'm the sort of person who does not give up, right? Like a stubborn person. The personality is, and I think it does take a certain level of stubbornness to get these events done, when you're not prepared and to deal with the challenges. So, yeah, I felt like, I need to have more faith in myself. As a runner or as someone who does an event, and just go for it, because I was like, no, I'm not doing a full marathon, no, I'm not prepared, I haven't done a long run in over 2 months. And then I was glad I listened to my friends and
Correct.
gave it a go.
And are there cultural specific values that you actually use that help you as an athlete, like discipline, humility, community, other elements like
True,
this?
true. That is there. Like there are a few things that I, spiritually, there are a few things that like I always recite this dua before
Okay.
I start my race,
Okay.
any race.
Okay.
I used to recite that dua before doing any exam also.
Okay. Okay.
So that is my key, that okay, nothing is going to damage you, it's going to protect me. And also, like my mother's very
Okay.
spiritual,
Okay.
and she always says that any prayer you make when you're in traveling, when you're traveling, is has a very high regard for
True.
high chance of coming true. So I even treat the marathon is a journey. I mean,
Okay.
42 kilometers
It's
is
journey.
like you're going from, yeah, and a lot of suffering as well.
Correct.
So I do, like, anything I have to ask for, I do, like, even during the
Okay.
run, I
Okay.
am like, okay, I remember something. You
Okay.
pray for, although it's self-inflicted suffering. I don't know if that works or not, but I would still, like, okay, make use of that. I'm in a journey, I'll make a dua. So yeah, I do all of those things, I think. Yeah, and discipline, I feel, for my whole training, like, it's morning is made, has barakat, the morning has barakat, and I feel that my training, when I do it early in the morning, it really helps me, like my whole day is good, it's sorted.
Okay.
Or that day is made for work and night is made for rest. So
Okay.
7 p.m. do not disturb me, I'm not there.
You're not there. You're
So
praying.
sunset and that's it, I'm gone. Yeah.
That's it. I'm gone.
Yeah, that's it, bye bye.
Okay. So, what does representation mean to you? Like when you see women from similar cultural backgrounds, similar situations, competing and succeeding, what does that mean to you?
I absolutely love to see more and more women from our background, participating in sport, doing things which were considered unconventional for women and succeeding in that. And I love how, when we were growing up, you had to answer a lot of questions if you were taking an unconventional path,
True.
like sports or athleticism was not really associated with
True.
feminine side. And I love the fact that now these differences are celebrated.
True.
People tell with pride that my friend did this, or I know her, and she's climbed this mountain and she's doing these things. So I love that, and I want, girls. There was a lot of
True.
competition
True. True.
growing up,
True.
right? Who's prettier, who's smarter, who's done more. But I feel that we really need to uplift each other. You need to open doors for other women, and for a lot of us, we are the first generation of women who are, participating in sport and
True.
all. And we need to have more women in the second generation who come up, and they'll have, if you start as a child, imagine where you can reach in your
Oh,
20s and,
absolutely.
in your 30s. So one of the biggest things I had when I started this was, oh my God, I started so late. But then again, I once had the chance to meet
Okay,
Gerda Singh.
gotta
Yeah.
say.
And she said something of this. She started
Yeah.
very late, and she's an Olympian. And when I had the chance to talk to her one on one, she was like, I think the positive in this is that we don't have any injuries or any background of those things. So we're fresh
You're fresh.
in this age. Whereas
Okay.
people who have been running since their teens and all, they have accumulated injuries. They might not love running so much. So this is new for us. And I thought, yeah, that's another way to look at it, right? Like the positive side.
Oh, true. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a different perspective.
it's a
Then
different perspective, a more positive way of thinking. But I still do feel that, okay, if I was of African origin, I would have had a better chance, like genetics were in my favor. Or if I was running from, childhood, yeah, things would have been better. But anyway, yeah,
it is what it is.
it is what it
And
is.
and would you ever had a situation where you had to walk away from an opportunity due to commitments, family commitments? How do you mentally tackle such situations? Like if you could have been there, it would have been something like that of sort. Does that bother you mentally? And if it does, how do you tackle it?
So I think always, like as a parent, and this is not just for me, any
True.
parent, like even fathers, you have to take a decision. Or even for people who are, say you're working
Mm-hmm.
and you have a clash with a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you'll have to take a call that, do I do my competition
True.
event, or do I keep my job?
True.
So
True.
it's like that, so you have to see what is more important and what can, just
True.
take a back seat. There'll always be more competitions, um, but no one has ever asked me that you have to leave your competition to do this.
True. Okay.
It's
Okay.
always like my choice.
Okay.
So, if something is clashing, I'm the one saying, and I have to decide based on what is more important, right? Like, so yeah,
Okay.
that's how I take a decision.
And do you when you how do you feel when you walk into a family gathering knowing that you are now an athlete? How do you process that feeling? How do you deal with it?
I would say that, if you would see me at a family gathering
True.
or a dinner I'm hosting, I'm very unassuming, like, in a frilly dress, in like, with your shalwar kameez and dupatta, and, I would prepare meals for big groups of people. If nobody knows, they cannot tell just by looking at me. So yeah, it's just like I said, I feel like I'm two people. Like the training, the sweaty hair and grinding is someone else, and then once that is gone and I'm at home or family gatherings, it's another person.
So it's fit Sara Lodhi and just
And
Sara
then there's
Lodhi.
just Sara Lodhi. There's, like, it's actually, I feel like it's two people. So when I meet my friends also, they're like, like how these people, these influencers put all these filters. And when you meet them in real life, you're like, they don't look anything like that. And I just made a joke. I was like, if you look at my Instagram and if you look at me
At
in my
home.
real
Yeah.
life at home, they're like, yeah, it's the same scene. There's no filters, beauty filters there, but it's someone else. Like you cannot tell she was doing this in the morning.
Fit Sara and Sara Lodhi.
Yeah, it
That's the
is like
that's the
that.
conclusion.
It's like that.
And okay, what would your message be to a young girl who's listening right now, who is thinking about fully exploring sports as a career, or she's stuck between that and probably disappointing people in the cultural circle? What would your message be to her?
I would say that if you believe in, your potential and your dreams, you should give it a shot
Okay.
for sure. Like, let all those inhibitions, the fears set aside. Because also it is like, okay, I'm going to take a stand for this, and will it even work out or not? So I would say always look out for your best interests. So if it's between education and sport, if you have to choose, I would say go for both.
Okay.
Yeah, because you need to have a backup plan. If this doesn't work out, this needs to work out. But also, like you need to have to take a stand.
True.
And I've seen this, that a lot of families do, even if they're initially unsure, they do support.
True.
Because now it's about, okay, we are gonna support you in whatever way we can,
True.
to a certain extent. Whereas 15-20 years ago, it was like no, and no means just no.
No. True.
So I think the things have changed, culture has evolved so much, and it makes me so happy to see,
Oh yeah.
the changes.
The
Like we've
progress
come
is
leaps and
beautiful.
bounds. Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
progress is beautiful. People are more open-minded,
Yes,
and they're more supportive of what an
exactly.
individual is doing. So
Yes,
that's a good plus.
yes.
And that brings us to the end of our first segment. Moving on to segment two. This is a rapid fire question.
Ooh.
I'm going to ask you questions. You're going to be super fast, Sarah, as you always are, all right? One stereotype about women in sports you love proving wrong.
That you can't be strong and feminine at the same time.
Your favorite training session that instantly boosts your mood.
Long, easy runs.
One small ritual you like to practice before every race or key workout.
Is not a key workout, but race is like a
Okay?
prayer I
Okay.
recite.
Okay.
And before every workout, I don't think, just start, just go.
Just go for
Just
it.
go. Yeah.
A time management hack that you'd recommend every busy individual.
Get it done in the morning before the world wakes up. Like, before anything can mess it up for you.
And one habit that keeps your mind clear and stress lower.
Is, I think, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? If this doesn't happen, just
Life
world will
goes
go
on.
on.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to segment three. These are our recommendations by our guest. Sarah, you've got some recommendations for us, I'm sure. All right, what's the best resource in terms like a book, a podcast that you want someone who's trying to juggle things, between fitness or between something of their liking? What would that recommendation be? What book would you recommend that person?
So I like Atomic Habits
Okay.
as a book. I really like that one. And then I listened to Diary of a CEO, the
Okay.
podcast, and it's, topics under the sun, and it's got a lot of good stuff in there.
Okay.
So yeah.
One mental health practice that you'd recommend everyone to try, even for 10 minutes, that can help them slow down their day or calm themselves?
Yin yoga.
Yin yoga.
Yeah. You hold a posture for 2 to even 5 minutes.
Okay.
So it's like nothingness.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is what we need.
And how can people connect with you over social media if they want some inspiration? Where do they follow you?
Instagram is the best place. If there's any like fitness related query that someone sends, I do try my best to reply, and people
And any final message for our listeners who feel caught up between honoring cultural or honoring themselves? What's your?
I think you can do it all. You
Okay.
can make everything work out
Okay.
without disappointing anyone and without disappointing yourself. That's the most.
That's the most.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning into this episode of What the Fahad. A huge thank you to Sarah. Thank you for your
So
time.
much for having me.
Thank you for opening up for the real, unfiltered experience of balancing ambition and belonging. And this story is a reminder that family and cultural do not have to be obstacles. They can absolutely be a foundation as long as there's enough honesty, mental care, and intentional time management. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and keep finding your own way. And thank you for tuning in once again. And I hope to see you on our next episode.
This was so nice.